first opened my eyes, they sought to...
As I'm on my way to escape, I run into a literal army of freaking Cacturn, which freaks so strong that it causes psychic and starts coming after me, and look at me! Can I survive 100 days in the hardcore and harsh environment in Pokemon? Specifically, Pokemon Wild's an amazing fan game that's got an open world with crafting. Well, stick around to find out. So, what we are doing? Well, after watching a lot of Minecrafters and doing some crazy things, I thought, why not set out on our own journey to spend 100 days in a Pokemon game and see how far we can make it. And today we're doing just that in the fantastic fan game Pokemon Wilds, where we will need to craft, fight, and bleed our way to the end. Now, the rules are simple. We have to survive all 100 days without blacking out and losing all of our Pokemon. However, along the way we have some challenges, and one of these is to catch as many Pokemon as possible during our journey and put them into our main farm or storage PC. The second challenge is to find the hidden legendary and defeat it, or find multiple legendaries and catch them. So we can either defeat one or catch one, and if we can do both, then that's bonus points. We also have to uncover at least 3 possible Pokemon in total and get them into our party and team. We also have to get at least 1 shiny Pokemon before the last day. And finally, we have the last goal, which is to find this piece of dirt Charizard that will keep pestering us and defeat him before the 100-day passes. So that is more or less the summarization of the rules. Now let's start with day 1 right away. So we started the first day by looking around for whatever sort of Pokemon we can add to our team, since we'll need them for crafting and building a camp and base, with Totodile more or less being the first Pokemon we find. And let's not forget about the freakishly large and weird Charizard that's just kind of waiting for an opportunity to more or less bite me. But then of course on day 1, nighttime comes around, and I've got to be honest, usually we should be scared at this time, because then the ghost can come out, which is more or less a creature that only hunts at night and could destroy us, but we kind of got out safely this time around. On day 2, I realized that we really needed to get our hands on a Pokemon with the move Cut so that we could remove some of these pesky trees that would be in our way. To do this, we use Machop to catch ourselves a Hoppip, since it would be able to do the job well enough. Then we cut down some grass and logs and head to the beach to start building our first house. That will be our base of operations while we're exploring this region. And by nighttime, we've essentially built the start of our base, give or take. So here's what it looks like. Nice, right? Well, day 3 is here. Day 3 is more or less just spent with us sleeping and then going out and getting some extra logs that we'll need for day 4. We wake up early and head out to build our encampment for our Pokemon. This will be our first one to keep our starting Pokemon within, our grasp, so to say, while we get enough resources to build more camps around the island for Pokemon to live in. And of course, we craft ourselves some Pokeballs as well, since we might need them very soon to catch more Pokemon. So day 5 is a big one. We put our first Pokemon in the camp, which is our Psyduck that we got the night before. And early in the morning, we acquire a Girafarig into our team as well. And Girafarig, that would actually come in really handy, as we were about to start exploring the island further. And to do this, we just hop on the back of Girafarig and start riding around, going to the kind of safari area where we more or less find a bunch of random Pokemon like Drowsies that we take on in battle and defeat pretty solidly and pretty quickly. But that's not all. We also head around and we find ourselves a random Charmander at night that's just glowing and having a great time, and we decide to add it to our team as it would be a great partner to have. And then we head back to our camp to essentially reassess our plans for the next day. So on the 6th day, we take it easy and leave our Totodile behind at the camp while we head out along the way to find a friendly little combi, and we add that to our party. But as the night falls upon us, we enter a Pokemon graveyard where we run across a Mischievous and a very friendly Absol that I make the decision to add to our party. Only issue is that we have no space, so I have to return to this one later on. It's a pony! Yes, day 7 starts off with an amazing discovery of a Ponyta that I decided to add to my team. By the time I make it back to our base, however, I discover a Sharpedo that seems sort of pissed off right off the shore where our base is located. I spend a bit of time decorating our little home with some plants, after which I'll say hello to Sharpedo, who still seems to be pissed off, and then we take ourselves over to the graveyard to add Absol to our team, who we will be using for riding instead of Ponyta and Girafarig, more or less because it's far more useful with the move Cut on it as well, and we need extra space in our party. Instead of heading home, we continue journeying around and run across a Meryl with some eggs. I make the logical decision to take one. I yeet one real quick, at which point the Meryl starts coming after me, and look at me, dude! Now my fear kicks in until I see the level of this thing, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm not too scared about this thing anymore. Either way, after more or less embarrassing that Meryl, we now have an egg in our possession, which hatches pretty quickly, adding a cute Azurill to our party, and then we escape up our way back to camp to recuperate. After a quick nap, I leave Absol and receive a dark energy from it before I head out with Ponyta. I add a Krabby to our party, and then all of a sudden, I think it's time that we need to expand our little ranch, as I feel we need more space for all of our brand new little Pokemon. This does end up taking a long time, and essentially more or less the whole of the 9th day passes, leading us into the 10th day. On the 10th day, I find a Kangaskhan that I used to go around headbutting a ton of trees. One of which had a spooky little Spinarak in it, which we then end up catching, and then I put it into our camp, which we can then use it for farming some silky resources, if you know what I mean. Then I craft a campfire, which I can use to craft even more things, and in this case, we're going to be crafting ourselves a Sylph Scope, as well as any other necessary items that we might need. Day 11 is spent leveling Ponyta and mostly sleeping. However, I have sort of a botched attempt at catching a Scyther, which ends up costing me my Ponyta, which is our first death in this adventure, meaning we have to release the fella, and of course, we sort of just wasted a day leveling a Pokemon that ended up dying anyways. I farm some more grass and logs to have for expansion of our base, and then go over and craft myself a fastball, and of course add a few extra walls to our house before the night comes in and we head out to explore around the island a bit further. And as I'm running around, I actually run across a Squirtle that I decided to put into our party. We find ourselves picking up some Pokeballs right next to a big old Charizard, which is kind of scary, and then run across a very angry Meganium, which is logically going to be ignored by me, and I'm going to move past it because I don't want none of that. Either way, base expansion continues as we add more space to the overall house, but let's not forget the interior, where I think it's time for some more reworks. Yes, we have to add some pink to this drab gray and brown world. Now, after doing a bunch of reworking and increasing the size of our house, we take ourselves out and we take out Charmander for some leveling, as it really does need to get some love, and of course, I want a strong enough one to take out the roaming Charizard. I'm gonna come for you, boy. On day 14, all I did was just meet this Luxray. Actually, never mind. I did go around leveling Charmander a bit extra and eventually evolving him into Charmeleon, which was really handy and useful because honestly, I want to get that Charizard. It's gonna be handy against, well, other Charizards and that Meganium we met earlier. So we got ourselves up and headed into the snowy mountains that were discovered close to the graveyard. This place is cold, so we need to watch out. We do find some new berries around here, which will be useful later on. Our goal right now has got to be to find ourselves a rock-type Pokemon, and we really need one to farm some rocks, as we currently only have cut and a ton of logs and grass mostly. And with our luck being amazing, it looks like we've got ourselves into the volcano area of the island where we can run across a bunch of rock types. In this case, we actually find ourselves a Geodude that we can use in our team. This will be super useful and we need to smash some rocks with it, if you know what I mean. Yeah, boy. Farming rocks is next on our agenda, and hey look, it's Sharpedo again. We take our Kangaskhan for a ride and head back to the snowy area as I'm about to hunt for some things, and then run into a Larvitar. I thought, hey, I can catch it, but apparently, nope, 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 and nope. Oh, look, my Charmeleon died, and still, nope. So yeah, I lost Charmeleon for essentially nothing and ran out of Pokeballs, meaning I'd have to go back and craft more and essentially kill this thing for no reason, so that's that. Day 17 is mostly spent sleeping to go through the horrible ordeal of losing Charmeleon, and then there is the night where we once again see Charizard, hi there buddy, and then we make our way over to the forest to do some leveling of our Totodile, which I really want to evolve into a Feraligatr as we may need the move Surf very soon. All of day 18 is also spent leveling Totodile. Yeah, that's all, nothing else really happened. Let's move on. Day 19, however, something happens. I run into a shiny. Only issue is I had kind of forgotten to craft any Pokeballs, so here's my genuine reaction to this moment when it happened. Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Oh, no, no! 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 Why? Why? Alright, Alright, enough of me crying about shiny Yanmega that I just had to kill, and let's move on. Now, killing Yanmega with Totodile gives us just enough experience to evolve it into a Crocodile, which puts us one step closer to having the move Surf available to travel across the ocean and explore other islands. Now, into the night we go, and I continue our leveling spree till the 19th day comes to a close. At day 20, I make the logical choice to craft a fastball and other stuff that I might need because, well, if I run into another shiny Pokemon, I'd prefer if I can actually catch it, and then we keep on grinding to get Feraligatr throughout the day and night. After some further grinding, we finally evolve our Crocodile into Feraligatr, and there it is! We got it! We head back home for a quick nap to heal our team, and then it's time to surf away in search of a new island. We roam around a bit and then we enter a new zone. And here we are out in the open sea, about to uncover some new land as the dawn shines upon us. We keep surfing around until we finally run into some land, and here we start our adventuring in search of new Pokemon as well as items and possibly even legendaries that might await us. And the first thing is a warning that this region is more dangerous, so let's keep that in mind, shall we? Now, I spent a minute having Kangaskhan headbutt a random cactus before I move on to, well, headbutting a different cactus, where we actually run into a Maractus that I decide to not catch, as I don't really want to waste Pokeballs. Then we actually end up finding a Pokeball, and night rolls in as we go around breaking some rocks with Geodude, and we find a Breloom, one of my favorite Pokemon by the way. However, this guy seems kind of aggressive, so we won't be messing with him for now. The next day, we surf around a bit in search of a new Pokemon as well as a new location to build our second house and base at. While finding some berries, we find a Sudowoodo that serves as nothing more than a snack for our Feraligatr, which by now is extremely useful and powerful Pokemon to have in our team. We ran around a bit and eventually we found it, the gold mine. There are two Dragonites in the distance alongside a random Totodile. Alongside them is a set of Pokemon eggs. These could be Dratini eggs, and well, right about now, it would be amazing to have a Dratini added into our team that could evolve into, well, a Dragonite. Now, it would be just amazing. And yeah, what do? Well, I make the logical decision to, once again, steal Pokemon eggs and start running away with my tail between my legs. And well, hey, guess what? It actually works out because we make it away barely and hide in the Ice Forest, as it's the only place that is safe for us for the time being. Now, we make it out of the forest, and then, as the night rolls in, we find the perfect spot to build our base at, which we do over the night leading into the 24th day. During the 24th day, we spend most of the day building together our massive new base that we'll be using while on this island. We take a quick nap before I make the decision to head back to the first island for some things we may or may not need and things we may have missed. Now, along the way, the night comes in, and also the egg hatches, giving our team a Dratini. Crazy enough, as we arrive to the previous island, I kind of notice on the beach here there is 3 Dratini eggs and multiple Dragonites protecting them, making me realize that instead of a single Dragonite, I could have multiple ones. Either way, I don't have enough space in our party, so I decide to return for the other eggs sometime later. Now, back at the camp, I decide to dig out some sand to make a little lake next to our house, as well as to expand the space around our home, and also add a little bridge to cross back over. After the little lake is built on the island next to our home, I move on and go for some leveling of our Dratini, but I end up making the mistake of kind of losing Dratini because I had less brain cells than a Magikarp, meaning that I had to run all the way down and find those Dragonites and Dratini eggs to yoink once again, which I end up doing, and oh boy, it goes pretty well this time around. I mean, we escape from these things with another egg in our possession. Into the night we go with our Absol, as I think perhaps there is something out there on our first island that we might actually have missed that's worth finding. And so into the night we go deeper and deeper until day 27 rolls in, and we still are going through the island's deepest parts all the way into the forest. We also run into a Raichu that we definitely can't add to our party because, well, it's extremely aggressive. Further along, we actually explore leading to this strange jungle and forest area where we find ourselves some new berries. And after a long night, we are so far from home that I'm starting to wonder what will happen next. And while on the 28th day, we're running around with Dratini, which meets a new friend, and we keep looking around this newly discovered lake for any potential items or dungeons we could discover. However, instead of that, more berries are discovered, and we are more or less going to spend a while leveling up Dratini that really will come in handy. We can evolve it into Dragoneer or even a Dragonite, since we will get the move Fly then, which will be very useful. Now, just as the night approaches, we are surfing the lake. Something strange happens. The ghost. Oh boy, it finally arrived. This thing initially scares the crap out of me as it came out of nowhere, and I start panicking, not being able to escape it. We get stuck and have to battle the ghost, so luckily we had in our hands a feraligator that could take the ghost out pretty easily, and that's essentially what it ends up doing, allowing us to not get destroyed more or less. After narrowly avoiding the ghost, we make the decision to head back and rest through the night. Next, I spend some time leveling up our Dratini before we head into the desert to explore around a bit, as I have this strange urge to uncover what else this region holds that we have yet to uncover. While in the desert, I discover roast berries, and pick a ton of them actually. Then I sideline and head to the local volcano, as I want to dig for some items, and in this case, I actually find a firestone, which is in the ground, which could actually come in handy later on. Then we head back into the desert and hunt for some mysteries. Our day in the desert consists of running around and actually digging up a lot of fossils, which we need to complete one of our tasks for this challenge. However, we don't have a place to resurrect these fossils at just yet, so we keep them, with us for now while looking around. Also, we run into an obligatory Drapion that wants to more or less eat my booty, but we narrowly escape it, and soon I find myself looking at two Garchomps guarding some eggs, and you know what time it is? I gotta steal them boys, which I can do not just yet, so I walk away since I need more space in my party before I pick up the egg. I then get to a shore where I decide that it might be time to actually build a new camp of sorts, which I end up doing with this nice little area to keep my Pokemon in while I explore around. I take a short nap before I get out to build the enclosure for the Pokemon, which shouldn't take too long in this case. I finish the camp and head down to the Garchomps. I yoink one of their eggs as planned and run away like a crazy man, which honestly works out really well. I keep the egg on me for a while, then I go back into the desert to explore further things. I run around and all of a sudden, our egg hatches, and we have ourselves a cutie beauty little Gibble in our party. Look at this boy. I find an old amber in the desert that can come in super handy as well, and then all of a sudden, I find myself in an oasis in the desert, and there I also run into a strange building that looks quite different from anything I've seen so far in this game. In particular, the fact that it looks like some sort of lab. Now, the computer inside of the lab says that it needs electricity, or an electric type in this case, to power the machines, and as such, it only makes sense for me to go and catch an electric type Pokemon for this purpose, so I decide to head back to my camp. However, as I'm on my way to escape, I run into a literal army of freaking Cacturn, which freaked me out, causing me to run for my bloody life. Now, I don't know about you guys, but seeing a shit ton of these guys does not bode well. Now, I run into the laboratory I was just inside of and hunker down for the night until all these Cacturn end up leaving. The next day, I head back to leave some Pokemon and start hunting for a Pikachu or any other electric type Pokemon in that case that I can use in, find in this forest. I spend the day in the grass and the forest running around grinding levels on my Pokemon, as well as trying to find an electric type, and as luck would have it, it would come into my hands soon enough. Except I didn't have enough space in my party, so I kind of had to let it go and spend the rest of the day just grinding levels. I did, however, the next day find myself a Pikachu again, which I once again killed, so I guess third time's the charm, maybe. However, then I end up finding a Nidoking in front of my house the next day, deciding that I will spend the rest of the day essentially just trying to get this Nidoking stuck inside of the fence that I built around my building, and yeah, that's what I do until night comes around, more or less. However, day 38 is when we finally get our hands on that blasted Pikachu, and we catch it, and now it's time to actually head back to the lab in the desert to uncover what it is that this place is hiding, and so we go down there. We get to the machine and hook up our Pikachu, if that gives enough power, and guess what it does, and look at that! The machine is on, and what it does is actually it's used to bring back fossils to life. And what do? Well, we did find a few fossils earlier in the previous days, so I make the logical choice of pretty much summoning an Aerodactyl. And, well, that's all we do. We still have to get, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 of these, so we'll complete the challenge easily. Now Aerodactyl is summoned, which means that all that remains is to battle this thing and actually catch it, which I do, but I do kind of accidentally kill it, but it's fine since they actually do not despawn, so we will just be back here the next day to actually catch this thing. So I return back, and it's time to get this Aerodactyl, as it will be a necessary Pokemon for our challenge. This time around, things are far better, and we actually get it, and yeah, it's actually pretty solid, and look at this, we can actually use Aerodactyl to fly around. This is exactly what we needed. Now, exploring the actual regions won't be even close to as difficult as it was before, and we won't need to deal with the Ghost, Sharpedo, or even Cacturns, or even that angry Drapion group that we saw earlier anymore. Like, we won't need to deal with them since we'll be able to essentially fly far away from them and they won't actually be able to reach us. Now, I make it back home and leave our Pikachu at the camp, as now is the perfect time to explore the skies and the region in search of legendary dungeons and other interesting things that we may find. Now, the night rolls in, and I'm just checking in on our Geodude when all of a sudden, just a gang of Cacturne show up, and luckily now that we can fly, it's much easier to avoid them. But why in the world is there so many of them every time? And they're just extremely aggressive. Now it's just time to roam around in search of adventure and things in the skies and land. First thing I run into is two, well, I guess Charizards with eggs that I decide to just close in and not allow them to leave because yes, I am evil. Then just spend more time just flying around. We run into a Mareep that I decide to put into my party as well, we could get some resources from it in terms of wool and stuff. I'll be honest with you, the next few days I mostly just roam around and I find a water stone, which will come in handy very soon while we're searching for an Eevee. A Eevee that we actually do end up finding in the graveyard, and as such, we do make sure to catch it to use a water stone on it to evolve it into a Vaporeon, which is a perfect little addition to our team. And also I ran into a Weavile that didn't like me. Oh. Either way, we fly around to uncover more of the map on the 44th day, and by accident run into the Ghost, which right about now is not really that major of an issue to actually defeat. Okay, after tons of flying around, I finally find a savanna where I decide to settle down for a minute to make a little encampment for some of my Pokemon. After leaving the savannah on the 46th day, I fly into a whole new zone and find a new island in search of dungeons and Pokemon that I've yet to uncover. By the 47th day, I kind of realized that this new island doesn't really have a lot to offer, so I make the decision to kind of pack up and leave. On the 48th day, we just fly around and try to make it back to our original islands. So now that we're heading back to the original island, something is telling me that there is something waiting in the horizon. We have to go back to the original island. Something's going to happen there. Something we're going to find there is going to be interesting. So we're going to head back to that area for now. However, day 50 is when a change happened, as I just managed to get into the night of the 50th day to uncover the Pokemon Mansion. The one that basically contains a very special Pokemon, a legendary that we have to take on. I look around as the 51st day comes in and uncover the key needed to enter the giant mansion. But before I make the decision to actually go inside the mansion, I want to make a new house and a base in front of the mansion to use as a sort of staging area for my assault on this place. Because yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to war. I spent all of the 52nd day creating our new encampment and house and get ready for the journey and battles that await us in the mansion. However, on the next day, we actually build the upper floor, the second floor for our house, then prepare ourselves to embark into the mansion. But before that, we do some grinding in the grass, and if I'm going to be honest, we will need it. We'll need to grind our Pokemon to the best possible levels before we take on what lies at the bottom of this place. And into the night, we level for Alligator, as we may need it inside of the mansion. Then we just do even more leveling, to be frankly honest. Just a ton of level grind here at this point, because we will need it. What's lying in there is dangerous. And finally, it is time we enter the mansion. Now, the mansion also hosts the legendary Pokemon Mewtwo, as I should point out. However, before taking it on, we will again need to explore this place, catch new Pokemon, and of course, level up our Pokemon, as the level of this thing may be insane. We also find loads of Ultra Balls in the mansion as we are exploring it. These will come in handy in case we want to catch Mewtwo, and I do spend a while leveling before I make the decision to go back out of the mansion to heal up my Pokemon and rest for the night. Day 56, we are back at it again. We're inside the mansion, roaming around, continue our roaming around different parts of it, essentially. And I'll be frankly honest, the next 10 days or so have been essentially spent doing barely anything and mostly just running around the mansion and leveling as well as catching a few Pokemon. So we'll run through them pretty quickly here. Day 57, I level up for Alligator further and find more Ultra Balls, and we do some farming with our Pokemon at our camp. Day 58 is spent more or less doing the same. And same thing for day 59. And finally, on the 60th day, we have ourselves a better and bigger day as we run into a bloody Arcanine. And I make the logical decision to yeet that boy straight into our party because we will need it, which I go straight forward and do actually, because why not? And I even caught a Breloom that we ran into earlier, so I add that into our team and drop it off at our camp. Then I realized that Absol might be our strongest Pokemon and best Pokemon against Mewtwo as well, so instead of leveling for Alligator any further, I decided to give Absol some leveling instead. And I also nicknamed and changed Absol's name to Absol-Lad, a joke on Absolute, so with Lad in there as well. So yeah, Absol-Lad, there you go, enjoy it. That one is really horrible, I'm sorry. And of course, we have ourselves another day of leveling as our Absol gets stronger and stronger. Day 63 is pretty much the same. However, on the 65th day, something far more interesting happens as I run into a shiny. Yes, a shiny, our second one in this actual journey. Now, here's my reaction of this. Let's go! Let's go, dude! Let's go! Let's freaking go, dude! Holy shit! Oh my god, 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 oh my god. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we go, dude. Let's go! Shiny mug. Yes, yes, let's go, dude. Let's go, shiny mug. Let's go, dude. Let's fucking go. Oh my god, yes, 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 yes. And there it is. I got myself a shiny muck into our team, and that's also going to be the end of the 66th day, as well as us completing another one of our tasks. Day 66 is more leveling and heading all the way into the deepest parts of the mansion. And here it is, the final day we spend leveling before the massive battle is on our doorstep. After we make our way through the maze that is this mansion, we get ourselves to the front door of Mewtwo's room, and so begins our steps towards this battle.
Humans, they cared nothing for me. From the moment I first opened my eyes, they sought to control me, but no more. Why are you here? You seek to control me just like the others.
And for this battle, we now have our team ready to go. Mewtwo's gonna be insane. It is incredibly strong. So strong that it causes psychic energy to literally surge through the room. I make multiple attempts at catching the Mewtwo, but it doesn't seem to want to get caught. We keep going and going, and this battle luckily is not as difficult as it could have been, thanks to the dark typing of our Absol, which ends up basically being perfect since none of the psychic moves actually affect us. We keep battling the Mewtwo and throwing essentially all our Ultra Balls to the point that we've run out of them. To the point that I make the decision to take out Mewtwo. We are strong enough, our Absol is so ridiculously strong now that we can do that. So yeah, that's exactly what we do. We defeat Mewtwo, and the day comes to a close. After finishing Mewtwo for the first time, we head out and make the decision to finally start collecting more Pokemon into our team, now that we have a far more strong Pokemon in our party, and along the way we actually did find an Ekans that I decided to catch and add into our team as well. We move a few of our Pokemon from the mansion camp over to our original first camp, and then we start expanding the camp a bit further as it is too small to keep all our Pokemon that we have obtained so far. We end up finishing the new encampment and have Blossom left behind in there. Before we continue, I have to go get this Sharpedo and whoop its booty. I mean, this thing has been messing with me the whole time, which we do go and end up doing. However, it comes with the sacrifice of our Feraligatr that ends up getting killed in the process. And it seems like we are on the warpath because one of the challenges we had was to find this smug-ass Charizard and put it in its place. And as such, we do actually end up finding it right next to our camp, and we start the battle of the decades against this thing. And turns out that Charizard ain't that special, apparently. We then just defeat it very quickly, then roam around the skies until we run into a Butterfree that is a crazy level 62, so I of course catch it because we love Butterfree, don't we? We always gonna miss Ash's Butterfree as well. Love you, buddy. After some flying, we find a new desert on the original island, which, we never found originally, but we build a little camp to put our Butterfree in there, as well as a newly acquired Numel. And then we also find some random eggs that, I don't know, I just decided to put in there as well that we found while exploring. I find a Metang that I add to our team. Psych! We kill that boy! You really think I was gonna add it to my team? Either way, continue flying, and when all of a sudden, I spot a strange place. A tomb or a dungeon of sorts? Question is, what is this place? Well, to figure that out, we need to first prepare ourselves, so I take my time and craft another house for us right here that we can use. Lightning strikes, and it's time for us to embark into this tomb. We enter it, and well, it seems kind of more chill than the mansion where Mewtwo was located, but we will have to roam around and leave a few times before we can actually get to the end of it, since healing will be a bit complicated otherwise. And the deeper we go, the darker it gets, to the point that it's almost too complicated to see anything. So, exploration continues, and I use Arcanine to make it glow so we can see a bit clearer inside of this dungeon. I do end up leaving the tomb and going to get Butterfree into our party, and then we head back into the tomb once more. We also sleep a bit, and then we head into the dungeon, and this time around, we have Butterfree, which is a godsend as it just smacks these Pokemon so easily. I wish I'd had a Butterfree from the beginning. Honestly, for a while inside of here, I do end up actually getting lost, but right at the end, we have it, the entrance to the mystery of this cave. And here we are. We walk up and we run into a Pokemon, and it is a Volcarona. Actually, my favorite Pokemon from Generation 5, and also a Pokemon that might be quite of a challenge to take on. Now, we start by throwing our Arcanine at it, and hoping that our Ultra Balls will do the job good enough to catch this thing. However, after a few attempts, we slide our Butterfree in instead. We use Gust and the last of our Ultra Balls until eventually we do get it. Yes, we finally catch this thing after multiple attempts, and it is sent to our desert base. At our base, we find it. I remove another Pokemon from our party so that we have enough space for Volcarona to be in there. And this is our first legendary Pokemon, and also it completes, I guess, another part of our challenge, which is, in this case, where we needed to catch at least one legendary or defeat a legendary. And now we've done both those things. So we fly back to our main camp and leave a few Pokemon that we won't be needing right now, as our remaining tasks require us to catch more Pokemon, as well as to find some fossils to get those bloody fossil Pokemon just cleared and done. We then start using, actually, Volcarona to fly around with. We find a random Rattata that we would beat the life out of, and we catch a Cubone before we run into and actually find the Keystone that we probably won't have enough days left to fully interact with, as it requires us to have 107 of something. I'm not sure exactly what. Apparently, it turned out that we needed a Life Force, so we probably won't have enough time to actually get that done. Perhaps in a future adventure we might, though. Then I fly around in search of some ghosts, which doesn't really bode well, but it is what it is. We find a Totodile that we actually take with us back to camp, just as a little consolation prize, the fact that, Feraligatr is gone. Then we, of course, fly to find more Pokemon for our camp. We find a little Ghastly roaming around, and, we open up and take it with us to our camp because it's so cute. We are flying back to the desert, as I previously found an oasis in it that contained a lab where we summon, fossils, and we still need, to complete the task of actually summoning these. But first we need an electric type to power the machine. Now, we don't end up actually finding an electric type. We instead just end up running into a Pidgey that we catch and a Scyther that I catch that I then head back to leave at our camp before flying again to try to find a Pikachu. Man, Pikachus are really rare apparently, because after the 86th day, no Pikachu has yet shown up. So instead, I just steal a random egg for fun. I love this game. The egg is then left at our smaller camp, and we head out to hunt for Pikachu once more. And we finally get rewarded as we do find one, and the only thing that is needed for us to actually get the machine working is this thing. And after Pikachu powers it up, we decide to get ourselves a Lileep, since we have the root fossil. Now, this Lileep is level 50 and stupidly strong and really hard to actually catch, so we leave it for now and return to it at a later time with more Pokeballs to catch it with. We actually then head back to sleep to get the Lileep the next morning. This time around, we actually do manage to catch it though, and honestly, it took quite a bloody while to actually get this thing sorted and caught. But now we just need one more fossil to complete our task. So we summon a Cranidos and challenge it in a battle. After a few switch ins and outs, we finally get the Cranidos, and we do throw the last Pokeball and catch it, meaning we now have 3 fossil Pokemon, completing another one of our tasks. We fly back to camp, leave Cranidos, Lileep, and Pikachu, and we take a long-needed nap finally. The Luxray around here seems kind of pissed, so let's make it even actually angrier and then destroy it. So yeah, that's what we end up doing. Next, we escape from the ghost once more and run into some other ghost types during the 94th night, and that's mostly what we do that night, just running around, messing around with ghost Pokemon. Then we just do a lot of just random level grinding in the graveyard, just killing random Pokemon for no reason, being really mean to them actually. I mean, these Pokemon have already died once, it's not really fun to kill them again, it's kind of unfair. Then, on the 96th day, we are just vibing as our day is about to get close to the end, when all of a sudden a Dragonite that is just pissed off at me shows up, that I spent most of the day just standing in a same position, just messing with it since it can't reach me, and just make fun of it for being so dumb. Yes, I am evil, I know. One of our eggs hatches, and we get a Pichu from it, and we leave it at the camp, and then we sleep our way into the 98th day. On the 98th day, we piss off a Charmeleon in the volcano, but handle it swiftly. And then, we find, I guess, Santa? No, Shady Penguin, Delibird. Either way, he shows up in the snowy mountains, and we whoop his booty, and then head back to camp. Turn home and leave a Slugma we found, and then it's time to just observe, look at all our Pokemon as we lead into the 100th day. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen, 100 days have passed in the game since we started, and we managed to survive, and we also managed to complete our tasks. We caught a legendary Pokemon, defeated a legendary, that being Mewtwo, captured multiple other Pokemon. In general, I think we caught well over 40, 50 or so, explored several islands, defeated Charizard, and also built loads of settlements. And we also can't forget that we did get a shiny Pokemon as well, completing that task in particular. And there it is. That is our journey as it comes to a close. And guess what? We managed to complete almost all of our challenges. Heck, we got that shiny Pokemon, which really surprised me because we killed one already. But that will be all from me for today. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe for more 100-day videos coming soon.